I have this joke I play on unsuspecting civilians when I'm rarely at a social event or a backyard cookout, barbecue, get together, some social function, and somebody who knows me but doesn't know me will come up and ask me, and they'll say, "So, Michael, what do you do for a living?" I mean, it's common small talk, right? I can't stand small talk. I'm like Jimmy Johnson, Dallas Cowboys two-time Super Bowl champion, said in his book, I have no time, I have no energy for small talk. He called it cliche life. You know, Jimmy wanted to talk about football. He wanted to talk about offense. He wanted to talk about defense. He wanted to talk about winning. He wanted to talk about family. He wanted to talk about the important, and he had no stomach for the unimportant. So when I find myself at one of these social get-togethers, I'm an introvert. Like, I enjoy my own company. My perfect day would be sitting under a tree with a great book, a great piece of literature, my highlighters, my pens, my recipe cards for writing down my distinctions and aha moments and notes, things that are, ideas, or sitting at the end of the dock or on the boat, again, with a great book, alone with my thoughts. And the other thing my perfect day is my time with Krista and Emery. I'm a family guy. I'm a fierce family man. And as the great Tim Duncan said in his book, or actually it was in a Sports Illustrated article, Tim Duncan, the Hall of Fame basketball player, said, most pro athletes are looking for ways to get out of their house. He goes, I'm always looking for a way to get back into my house. And I run into this so many times with a lot of men who, if it's not golf night, it's hockey night, it's baseball night, even crazy things like dart nights and all these other things, anything to get out of the house. And I'm with Tim Duncan on this. If you invest time, TIME, and be there, I want to be a man who's trying to get back into the house. I'm fighting all day to be home for dinner at the dinner table at 6 p.m. And I'm structuring my day and my time and my rules and my self-discipline, and I'm walking and talking to you at 6 in the morning so that I can get back into the house sooner than later today for time with the people that matter most to me. So back to my story. When a person asks me, Michael, what do you do for a living? And they see, the life that I live. They see my freedom, my autonomy, my independence. They see that I work from home 85% of the time. They don't really see, me going to an office. They don't see me sitting around in dress clothes. They don't see me commuting. But they see that, the homes that we live in and the cars we drive, and most importantly, the autonomy we have to spend with each other. And I always answer the question the same way. I'm a salesman. And I love this joke on them because it literally, you have to see the disappointment, sometimes horror in their face when I answer that question, what do I do for a living? And I'm like, oh, I'm a salesman. And they're expecting me to say that I work in big tech, or I'm in politics, or maybe I'm in big pharma, or, I do something that's big and exciting and all these other things. And actually I do. If I tell a person that I'm a pro hockey coach or was a pro hockey coach, or I own my own hockey franchise, or that I coach junior hockey, or even if I say, I sell money at a discount, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, those things are very interesting to most civilians. But sometimes I like to play the joke. I love to say, hey, I'm a proud, unabashed salesman, because I am. And the reason that I get such a horrified response, and you will as well, is that salesperson, salesman, has become such an ugly word in our no work society. So I would say over the last 30 years, since the glory days of guys like my father starting, a business with the Yellow Page ads, sitting down and literally starting a business with not a single prospect or client, dialing for dollars, sitting down and starting a multi-million-dollar business with an idea and a telephone. We're long past those days where there's pride in salesmanship. Now it seems to be the complete opposite. Whether it's through our schools, through parenting, through our government, through big tech, all of a sudden, several decades ago, being a salesman or a salesperson has become something that there's no longer pride in it. We're supposed to be ashamed of sales. Sales is ugly. Sales is bad. Sales is dirty. And the fact of the matter being, if you have your head screwed on straight, you understand that in our economy, a capitalist economy, that if all the salespeople and all the small business owners and all the entrepreneurs, if we went on strike, like teachers and auto workers and other union bullies, our economy would grind to a complete halt in less than 1 week, 7 days. So it's the small business owner, it's the entrepreneur, it's the man or woman in the arena, and it's the salesman and the salesperson who stirs this capitalist drink. You're the man or the woman who makes things happen, pays taxes, keeps our schools open and going, our hospitals going, our roads, our bridges, our infrastructure, builds sports stadiums, donates money to charities and youth sports and different things. You're the straw that stirs the drink. My recommendation is to be extremely proud and unabashed or unapologetic about the fact that, yes, I am a proud and trained salesman. And I don't believe in salespeople being born. I believe they're developed and made through serious study ethic. I'm actually an introverted person. I'm more at ease speaking in front of 2,000 people than at a backyard barbecue with 5 people. Like I said earlier, I enjoy my solitude, my time alone. I enjoy my own company. And I love my peace and quiet. But I'm a trained salesman. I'm a proud trained salesman. I've read probably over, 800 books on salesmanship, sales tactics, sales strategies. I've subscribed to sales newsletters for 25 years. When I decided that I wanted to be a pro coach, that I wanted to be an NHL hockey coach, that was my dream. What did I start studying even more of? Sales. What is a great NHL coach? He's a salesman. What's a great NFL head coach? He's a salesman. What's a great NBA head coach? They're a salesman. What's a great business owner? They're a salesman. What's a great entrepreneur? They're a salesman or a salesperson. You look at the backgrounds of all the greats, from Henry Ford to Rockefeller to Walt Disney to men like my father, who started with nothing but a Yellow Page book. At their core, these ultra successful salespeople are salesmen. They are self-made, self-driven salesmen. And above and beyond, above all else, they can sell. You know, Walt Disney could sell, you know, the state of Florida. He could sell the person on buying them this swampland. He could sell them on putting an amusement park where nothing was supposed to be built. And, you know, you look at a guy like Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank, another good Canadian, by the way, and he's just an outstanding salesman. He sells himself on TV as Mr. Wonderful, on Shark Tank, on Dragon's Den in Canada, and he's in the business of Kevin O'Leary. Henry Ford was in the business of Henry Ford. Jeff Bezos is in the business of Jeff Bezos. And Elon Musk, our boy, buying Twitter, is now really in the business of being Elon Musk. You look at his background, but he is first and foremost an outstanding salesman. And these traits can be developed. People don't like to say that, but it's true. I mean, I consider myself a top 1% salesman, but I developed all these skills at an early age, and it's something that I'm developing in my alpha female daughter, Emery. So we're driving home from school yesterday, and you know, I love the drives in the vehicle because we have some of our best talks. No technology, no music, no radio, none of that stuff. Just me and her talking about her day. And she says to me, she goes, Daddy, she goes, how did you learn not to be shy? And I was like, oh, great question. She goes, because sometimes, she says, I don't want to ask for things. And we have a saying in the McLean family, if you don't ask, the answer is always, and Emery always says no. So anytime she asks for something, whether the answer is yes or no, I'm always making a point of, good job, keep asking. Even though the answer is no, keep asking. Because there's studies that show that children at the kindergarten age, let's say age 4 and 5, ask, let's say, 125 questions per day. What's this? How does this work? Why does this work? Question. Always learning, always growing, always improving. Here's the thing about our society. Our parents, the adults, get involved. Parents like you and me and teachers and coaches, we get involved, and the learning party is over. In other words, be quiet, you know, eat your dinner, eat your lunch, eat your breakfast. Don't be talking all the time. You know, you don't have to be curious, George. You know, you don't just, you know, what's with all the questions? I need a break. And this is something I learned in the great Einstein blueprint, where we need to be encouraging our children to do two things: to ask more questions as they get older, which is the direct opposite of every other kid's experience. Keep asking. Doesn't matter if the answer is no. Keep asking. And secondly, encouraging our children to remain, and each actually grow more curious every day. Curiosity is another thing in children that they've studied from kindergarten, age 5, all the way up to teenage. And when they test curiosity in a group of 30 kids in a kindergarten classroom, it's the same as questions. You have 30 kids that do nothing but ask questions, and you have 30 kids that do nothing, their curiosity is a 10 out of 10. They want to know things. They want to know how things work. They're, you know, naturally curious, and they're naturally question askers. And then the adults get involved, and we pound that out of our children. Don't ask so many questions. Here's an iPad. You know, just play for a while. Daddy's busy. That kind of bullshit. And then with the curiosity, well, you know, that's not important, or you don't need to know that. And and whatever it is. And the test at the end when these kids are in middle school, as an example, they're entering their early teenage years, where they almost ask zero questions, like zero questions. All curiosity has been banished, demotivated. And as far as questions, they don't ask any. So when my daughter asked me that yesterday, how do I ask so many or how do I get past any shyness? I told her this story about how I've been selling since I was at least 12 years old. Lemonade stands, garage sale at the end of my parents' driveway, hockey camps, tennis camps, hockey schools, window washing business. It just goes on, and they were all belly to belly, toe to toe, eye to eye businesses, where really I would start the business. Maybe it was for one day, like a lemonade stand. Maybe it was one day, like a garage sale, or maybe it was for a week, like a hockey camp or a tennis camp. But I literally started without a single customer, and I had to start selling. And starting selling means I just had to ask people. And I remember my dad, when I was about, I'm going to say 12 years old, I needed $500. I needed $500 to start my hockey camp. It was a week-long camp. I had to buy pucks and pylons and jerseys and all this stuff. So my dad set up a meeting at RBC, his bank, and he said, no, you're going to go into the bank and you're going to speak to the loan manager. And what's going to happen here is you're going to ask for the money. Not me. I'm not going to co-sign. You're going to ask for the $500. So my dad set this up, and I'll never forget. I went in. I'm 12 years old. I'm in my suit and tie, and I walk in. I sit in this little office with this gentleman, and I go in there, and he asks me a few questions, and I tell him about my business, and he asks me a few more questions, and then he goes, how much money do you need? I go, I need $500. And I'll never forget, I never got the $500. The bank declined me because my dad was not willing to co-sign. This was a lesson. He's like, you know what? Banks. He taught me about banks. He's like, when you don't have any money, when they don't need you, they don't need you. And then when you do have money, they'll stand up and, they're there for you. And I have that experience my whole life. So I got turned down at age 12 for my first $500 loan. And my dad lent me the money, and I had to pay back every single dollar of it. But he said to me on the drive, he says, I'm going to give you the money. I'm going to lend you the money anyway. But he said, we're going to do this privately. He says, you don't want those SOBs as part of your business anyway. But it taught me a couple lessons. It taught me that I have to ask for things, but I have to learn how to sell. I didn't sell that banker. I just answered a few questions, but I didn't sell him on my vision and my business. And my dad also taught me about banks, that, you know what, they don't give a shit about you. They care about, their side of things, which I'm totally fine with. But when you have money, banks are there for you. When you don't have money, they're not there for you. So get that in your head was basically his message. He wasn't criticizing the banks. He was just telling me a rule to live by. He's like, don't count on anybody but yourself. In business, you have to find ways. You need to sell your way through life. So I was telling Emery about how I started my window washing company with a pail, some water, a squeegee. And it's so cold in Canada in the winter because I would wash windows every Tuesday, 52 weeks a year, all the businesses in our downtown core. And I built it up to nearly $600 cash a week. Just me going out for 2 hours, maybe 3 hours on a Tuesday during school and washing the windows of all the different small businesses in our community. And it was, $10 here, $5 here, the odd $20 one, but mostly 5s and 10s. And I would scratch out on the pad with the carbon paper, $5, $10, and they would all pay me cash. And I would go back to the school in the cafeteria, and I remember counting out $500, $600, $700 in 5s and 10s and 20s each and every Tuesday. And it got to the point where I hired actually 2 of my friends. I give them $20 for the 2 hours or whatever. This is going way, way back. And they would help me, and I would do nothing but the sales. So I would walk into the convenience store, and I would say, I had it down. Just one after another. I'd be like, sir, it's a dirty, snowy January Tuesday, and I'm walking in there, and I'm like, sir, I noticed that your windows are dirty, and whatever, I forget the script. And then I say, how would you like your windows washed today? And I mean, every one of these guys was like, yes, these are new customers. And then I'd put them on my weekly plan where I'd come in every single week. But to get them as a client, I would always go in every damn week. If a person said no 1 week, I'd go see him the next. I'd go, okay, go over there and clean that customer's window. I'm going over to see Bob again. I'm going over to see Bob again. I'm going over to see Bob again. And I would literally make Bob and Joe and Billy and Karen say no to me 52 Tuesdays until they became a client. And sometimes they would say, well, just do it today. And I'm like, thank you. And then I'd say, I'll be back next week. And they'd say, oh, I only want you to do it once a month. I'm like, okay. And then I'd build that up. They'd say, well, once a month isn't enough. You need it every 2 weeks. And they're like, okay. And then finally, I would get them down to 52 weeks per year. And that's how I built my business, toe to toe, nose to nose, eye to eye, belly to belly. Like my dad says, with good old shoe leather. And all my friends worked at McDonald's and Subway and had these lousy part-time jobs. For the 2 years I was in grade 10 and 11, I had this window washing company, and I never had to work a part-time job because I was bringing in over $500 cash, plus paying my guy, my friend. And I was able to play hockey and tennis. I had all this freedom for school and sports because I had my own little business, window washing business, when I was in grade 10 and 11. And I do have to give my dad credit for that because it was his idea to buy this little window washing business from a guy. I think all we bought was the cart and the pail, and I used antifreeze each week to keep the water from freezing. So here I am every Tuesday out walking the streets of Perth, and you wouldn't believe the compliments I got down the road from other businessmen. Because we as businessmen and entrepreneurs, we admire other people with initiative. We admire other people with a strong work ethic. And I used to have all these adults come up to me, I thought they were adults at the time, and say, man, I see you out there busting your ass and washing windows in the sleet and in the snow and in the pouring rain and in the summer heat, and nothing stops you. And I think those were good for me to hear as a young man. I was only 15, 16 years old, but it brought me pride. It made me proud to be a salesman. It made me proud to be a business owner. It made me proud to be an entrepreneur. And I think that really helped with my capitalist mindset, where capitalism, it isn't perfect. It comes with all its difficulties, but it sure as hell is a lot better than the other failed options. So I'm a proud and unabashed capitalist as well. I believe in self-start. I believe in self-initiative. I believe in self-reliance. I believe in self-responsibility. And I believe in the huge potential of every single person on this earth. So I'm also a proud, unabashed, and unapologetic salesman. So I learned my skills. I told Emery, I said, I learned to go from shy and uncomfortable and not good at sales to making serious study of it, reading books, listening to cassette tapes, listening to right up to today, every single day. I'm reading magazines, I'm reading newsletters, I'm reading books on being a better salesperson. listening to podcasts and putting good input into my mind. And that was my answer to my daughter, is I got good by doing. I got good by asking. And it goes back to the saying in our home, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So with my daughter Emery, she's done lemonade stands, but now I'm gonna, as a father, I'm gonna put her in positions where she needs to, I'll help her with little companies, little businesses if she wants to start them up, which she does. I said, but I'm not gonna ask her with the help with the asking part. I'm not gonna help her with the asking part, because that's the part that's most valuable. I'll help her set up the lemonade stand like we did last time, but she's the person on the corner that has to ask everybody. She's the person that has to call grandma and grandpa and Pat and ask for a donation before the event. She's the person who has to, do the asking. And that's gonna build confidence in her. That's gonna build some grit in her. It's gonna build some mental calluses in her. And it's just, it's going to teach her salesmanship. And I'll tell you one last thing before I go here, man. God, life is long. Life is long if you don't know how to sell. That's the thing I've noticed. My dad told me there's two ways you can live your life. You can sell your way through life, or you can accept what's left after the salespeople are done. You have to sell your way through university. You have to sell your way through life. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a loan at a bank, trying to get a mortgage for your home, trying to, attract and date the woman of your dreams, trying to communicate better with your children, trying to, run a successful company, triple the size of your business, motivate and inspire your employees. You want to make a difference at the Rotary Club or the Lions Club or for children's literacy or the food bank. All those things require you being able to sell your vision. When I was part of those charities, I wasn't peeling potatoes. I was selling. I was filling their bank account with money, the one thing that they really needed, so that they could help more people, so they could buy more books, so they could buy more food for the food bank, so they could, help more animals. So I was the marketing, but I was the salesperson for those things. And when you have that ability, you can bring those things to charities. You can be a person that fundraises for them, the thing that nobody else wants to do. But man, you either learn to sell your way through life or you accept what's left. And that's why it's so important for my daughter Emery, is I want her selling her way through life. I want her asking for things that she wants over and over again. I want her to not, to be deaf to the word no. Deaf to the word no. Where, it's like the great Zig Ziglar said for years at his sales presentations, a great salesperson cannot hear the word no at 5 feet, but can hear the word yes whispered at a mile away. It's all about no means not now. No means not now. So as a dad and with my wife Krista, we're going to continue to work on this, getting her to ask questions, stay curious, and not be, defeated in any manner by the word no, and just learning and building those sales skills that are going to serve her throughout her life. Everything I've done, from hockey coaching to business startups to, washing windows, to doesn't make any difference. All of the things that I've done in my life at a significant level, I've achieved because of my ability to sell. I was able to sell my vision. I was able to sell my ideas. I was able to sell my company. I was able to sell my vision for my, for this latest thing. I was able to sell my hockey players on our culture. I was able to sell my players on the vision of winning a Barclay Cup. I'm able to sell my volunteers with my hockey team, people working for free I sell them on the vision, the culture, on being part of something. It all comes back to selling. So that's it for today. Here endeth the lesson. I'm 2 miles in here. I'm doing pretty well this morning. I have my world building 2 hour with my guys today, which is my favorite part of the week. If you're interested in going on a waiting list for my next Badass Millionaire World Building Society, you can do that at the link below, badassmillionaire.com/apply. And I'll put you on a list, and when I run my next world building 8-week program, it's expensive, by the way. It's for cleaners, closers, it's for champs, not chumps. It's for contenders, not pretenders, and it's for builders, not takers. So don't waste my time. If you're interested, you can apply at the link below. And if it's not for you, if it's not your cup of whiskey, then don't waste my time. Secondly, you can get a copy of my new book, How to Not Get Your Ass Kicked in Business and Life, below at the link, nobullbook.com. I write physical books and I record an audiobook, and that's it. I don't do the go fetch PDFs. I don't do the $9.95 ebooks. I don't do any of that stuff. I produce and print paper and ink real books, because I want real readers. I want readers. My program is hard coaching and accountability. Hard coaching and accountability requires real readers, people that build libraries. And thirdly, I put a free web training together, my top 10 world building secrets for creating a badass world. Personal world and business world, they're both the same. And you can watch that 90-minute training at badasswebinar.com. The link's below. There's no cost. There's nothing like that. It's just a free training I did with my guys. badasswebinar.com. And I go through my 10 insider secrets for me building my personal world. My autonomy, my freedom, my marriage, my marketing, my business, my community service, my job, my role as father, as a leader, and how I build my legacy. But most importantly, how I build this world I live in. My rules and my terms, how I live life and do business on my own terms. And that is a free training for you. If you're interested, that's great. If you're not interested, doesn't change my life in the least. That's it for today. Michael McLean. I'm heading home. I've got to do my 75 Hindu squats, and then I'm going to do my hour of reading, my hour of copywriting, which is my marketing. I time both hours, and then I'll drink some more water, have a coffee, and it'll be time to get on the computer with my best of the best world builders. I'm blessed with an amazing group of guys, amazing group of men this year, and boy, we're making headway. And these are true blue salesmen, by the way. These are true blue capitalists. These are guys that are building things. I don't have any pretenders in my group. I got only contenders. I got lions, not fucking sheep. So if you're interested in that, you can apply below. Okay, man, that's it for today. I shoot these every day. If you're interested, subscribe below. It's me every morning taking you on these crazy adventures in Naples with me and my broken iPhone 7. I don't carry a cell phone normally, so I have this broken cell phone, and I get up and I talk. I don't even write notes. I don't edit. I don't censor. I don't do any of that stuff. I just shoot this and send it to my marketing director, Mark, and he puts it together and sends it out. So if you're interested in these videos, please subscribe below to my channel. And I finally know what it's called, a channel, YouTube channel, for as long as I'm allowed on here. It won't be long. And you can also make a comment below, which I appreciate, but I don't care whether you comment or not. So that's it for today. 2 words, men, 2 words that changed my life and two words that can change your life. Be relentless.